Okay. Hello everyone, just give me a second. Okay. Okay. So we are good to go. So do let me know if I'm visible to you. Am I visible to you? Okay, great. So, hello everyone, welcome all to the data science master bootcamp that we are having. It's a 5-day bootcamp. I'll give you a brief in just in the first 5 minutes uh, about the bootcamp, what we are going to learn, what are the overall things that we are having here, and after that, I'll brief you about like what you will get, what are the surprises that we are having for you. Okay, so first of all, my name is Ashish Jangra. I'm a data science mentor at Geeks4Geeks, and along with me we are having Arpit as well. Arpit is having 9+ year of industrial experience in data science, so he's taking your session today. So do let me know in the chats about how's the Josh. Okay, hi, hi Akshat, hi Nawaz, hi Vishneshwar, hi Rotan, hi, hello everyone. So uh, just wait for 1 minute so that student can join in, and till that time, what you can do, you can share the YouTube stream link with your friends, with the WhatsApp group, with your peers, so that they can also take the benefit from the stream. And in the beginning of the stream, means in the mid of the stream, at any point of time, you will get a surprise as well. Okay, so stay active. It can be any point of time. I won't say either it is in the mid, in the first 10 minutes, or in the last 10 minutes. It would be there. It is going to be a great surprise for you. And yeah, I am just telling you this thing so far. So yes, just show the jokes. Okay, is it beginner friendly? Nawaz is having a question. Is this session beginner friendly? Yes, this is going to be a beginner friendly session. Even if you are new to Python, or if you a little bit about any programming language, we will get you covered. Okay, so to give you a brief about the 5 day session. So the first session, which is today, we are going to discuss about introduction to data science for Python, means basically Python for data science. We are going to discuss about the Python programming language, how it is structured, and only the means the components of Python programming language which are used in data science. We are not going to discuss about the whole Python. We are just going to discuss about Python which is used in data science. If you know Python, good. If you don't know Python, this session is for you. If you know Python, this session is work as a brush up, I would say. Okay, so this is it. And as far as these 5 sessions are concerned, so first session is clear. We are going to discuss about data science. Okay, Python for data science. In the next session, means tomorrow, we are going to discuss about a project in data analysis. Which project is this? Let me share my screen with you. And just let me know if the screen is visible to you. Is it visible? Just let me know in the chats. Okay, Rishabh is having a question. I'm confused. Like data science, which language is used? Either data science, which programming language is used? So for you, means there are a lot of people who might have these questions. So we are having a session for you on day 5. We are having a special session for you on day 5 where we are going to discuss from the beginning, like which are the skill set you need to have to get an internship, to get a job, what is the over career pathway basically. Okay, we are going to have a session for you at the end, at day 5. Okay. Okay, is there any difference between data science and data structure? Yes. Uh, Means data structure are the fundamental, data and science is the application, which is the end to end. Okay. So the screen is visible to you. So we have made 2 custom datasets for you. 2 custom datasets. Okay. And one of the dataset is basically on Geeks for Geeks articles. Okay, so if I am opening this, so we are having two projects that you are going to build. Okay, first is on Geeks for Geeks, second is on Geeks for Geeks article. This is going to be assignment for you, where we are having our own custom made data set at Geeks for Geeks. How we at Geeks for Geeks are using our articles to analyze different stuff. Okay, for example, this is the data set we are having of 34,000 articles, and we are having the data like who has written that article, when it is published, what is the link, and either it is easy medium. Okay, now you might think what are the things you can analyze from it. Okay, I was also thinking the same way when as means even as a student, if you are new to programming language, new to technology, you might think the same way. But after analyzing it, I'm just giving you a brief like what are the things that can be analyzed. You can analyze who have written most number of articles, right? Like Chinmay Lanka, who's already working at Geek for Geeks. He has written means he's the top five, right? You can also find the most liked articles. You can also find like here we are having day-wise analysis of articles. At which day of the week we are having most number of articles published, at which month we are having most number of article published, least number of article published. This will give you an institution like how the thing works. Similarly, if we are talking about number of articles published yearly, this is the analysis, right? So these means this is something that you are find from the raw data. Okay, same thing we are also having the data set on TED Talks. Okay, and to give you data analysis as well. So this is the data set of around 4,000 TED Talks happens so far, and I'm a huge fan of that. uh, so this will give you a personal recommender, right? If you want to know who is the most popular, which are the most popular TED Talks happen so far, you might have seen this. Do school skill creativity. You might have seen it, right? And apart from that, body language may shape who you are. So these are some of the TED Talks. You can go to the link and also watch them. You can find it based on the speakers. Which speaker has given most number of TED Talks? Month-wise analysis. You can do it. Like which month of the year we are having most number of TED Talks happen? Which year we are having most number of article? And from here you can see in 2020 and 21 the trend goes down because of COVID. This is the work of a data scientist, data analyst. Okay, or which means which author is having most number of the best like to ratio, means I would say like to view ratio. So these are the project that you are going to build. Okay, we are going to teach you this project, and the second project of week for geeks analysis on is on your side. Okay, you are going to work on the assignment. Apart from that, we are also coming up with a data science master program, live program, 10 weeks, and you guys can win the scholarship on that. You can win the exciting goodies, you can appear for the assignment, and apart from that, you can also get the certificate of completion of this. Okay, so in the data science live program, we are going to discuss about each and everything in detail. Okay, like because this is going to be live program, so obviously it will go. And means on this particular program only, data science live program, we are having a special surprise for you that Api sir will means introduce you in the beginning at any point of time over to them. Okay, so that's it from my side. So welcome Api sir, and over to you.
Uh, Hey Ashish, thank you so much for introducing me here. So, hello everyone, welcome to our bootcamp. And in today's discussion, we'll be very much talking about the data science stuff. So, let me know if my screen is also pretty much visible with the presentation which I wanted to give. So, just let me know in the chat. Right. Great. So we are very much into the data science bootcamp, which we wanted to cover. So here, as Ashish was talking about, it's going to be a 5 days workshop. And here we'll be talking about orientation, which you need to be from tools and the tech perspective in data science. The very good thing is we'll be doing 2 live projects here. We'll be solving it live. So, and then eventually we'll be getting the solution also on the home assignments will be given to you. And on top of the assignment results, we'll also be awarding some scholarships, the goodies. And at the end, on the very fifth day, we'll be having the AMA, Ask Me Anything, like the career guidance kind of a session. So we'll be talking about, we'll be covering all the needed topics for your kickstarting your journey in data science. Correct. So that's pretty much what the data science bootcamp comprises of. So we are into day one. So before, without even wasting a single time, so let's proceed. So the agenda for the day one is we'll be talking about data science. So just giving you a brief, what is data science, breaking all of your bubbles, right? So let me, I'll be explaining what are the different things you'll be needed in with data science, and eventually why Python is important. So we'll be starting with Python eventually. So that's, which is one of the mandatory skills in data science. And on that Python, we have a number of topics, but today we'll be definitely covering one of the key topics in Python, which is list, where many of the people are having trouble. So we have identified list, and definitely the multi-dimensional list and the indexing and the slicing of the list. So that's pretty much what the agenda looks like for the day. Okay, and in between, if you have any questions, I'm trying to monitor the chat, so I might miss out all the different questions which you're asking, but still I'll try to answer to the best I can. Okay. So now to start with, what is data science, guys? So simply put, it's a science of data, right? So getting the business benefit from the power of data. Eventually, you want the business to be benefited from the data which you have. So that's simply what data science is called as. So here we have multiple subcomponents. We talk about statistics, we talk about exponential data analysis, we talk about machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, NLP, time series. There are n number of subcomponents, right? So there's, I would say, some of the other subcomponents of data science, correct? And eventually, if you want to be master in data science, we have to master these subcomponents, which definitely will be covered in the elaborated data science live code, which is being going live from 9th of April. But here we'll be talking about a prominent, important, I would say, mandatory skill in Python, which is, I would say, in data science very much needed. So from the languages perspective, apart from the stats and the EDA, you are need to be very good. You are supposed to be good in Python and SQL, right? So that's again one of the prominent languages. Great. So that's pretty much an intro about data science. But again, so as I said, multiple subcomponents like statistics, machine learning, deep learning. Each of these individual topics needs separate attentions, and that is the reason why we'll be going deep in the data science live course. But very much on this particular bootcamp, we'll be focusing on Python. That to giving you an overview of how you can utilize the skills in list most probably in your Python for the data science work. Okay, so I'm just sharing my screen for the content of Python. Just let me know if that is visible now. Just give me a minute. I'm just pulling up that. Right, so I think this should be pretty much visible. Right, just give me a minute. Cool. So I hope my screen is pretty much visible from the data science bootcamp perspective. So we're starting with list, right? So we'll be talking about what is list. I'll be giving you a brief about list and how we can use list, and most importantly the tuples as well. So what is the differences? So list, guys, nothing but it's an arbitrary collection of my objects into a sequence. Okay, so here list is a pretty flexible kind of a data type which we have in Python, where we can have multiple such data types stored. Okay, a list is a data type which is particularly being defined in the square brackets, and here we can have all the different elements enclosed, separated by a comma, right? So how exactly you can define the list? You can see it like this. So suppose I'm defining a list A here, which is enclosed in the square brackets, and eventually I'll be having all the elements. So for now, I have just added the strings. You can see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So multiple substrings. And if I just simply do a print of my A, so I'll be getting the list of my strings. So definitely I have in the list, I have only one single data type here right now, which is most probably a string. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F, enclosed by the, you can see the quotes here, right? So it's basically giving me the identification of a string. So that's what this list A is, having the elements of strings. So it's a list of strings for me right now, right? But again, let's move ahead. What are the certain characteristics of Python? So there are very important and key characteristics of Python list. So something called as ordered. So we'll go with each of these characteristics one by one. I'll give you examples also. Meanwhile, you can obviously ask me questions. So lists are pretty much ordered. Okay, and what do I mean by that? So I'll go once upon again here in order. So what do I mean by ordered, right? So every element here is given an index. Every element is defined in a particular order, right? So for example, look at this clear example here. So I have two lists here. You can see this 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So I have one list 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I have another list 4, 3, 2, 1. Can somebody tell me, are these two lists the same? If you're aware, quickly guys, just a quick yes or no in the chat. Can you tell me whether these two different lists are same? Are they same or are they different? And this is one of the key characteristics of being the list, the ordered elements. So indexing is very important in my list, right? So quickly, guys, if you're aware of this, if these two lists are same, so we have so many nodes coming up here. So that's pretty much it, guys. So we understand this, right? So these are two different lists. If I talk about this one, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. But if I talk about 4, 3, 2, 1, although the uniqueness of my elements is same, right? I have same unique elements. So if I take a set of the such elements, unique elements, I'll get the same elements, but the orderings are different. So for example, if I give this list as A, for example, and if I give this B as this, right, simply assigning to these operators, and if I want to find out A of 0, for example, I want to see what is the first element, right, it will give me 1. But at the same time, if I do B of 0, it will give me 4. Because in this case, the first element is 4 and not 1. So these two are my different lists. They are not the same list. Okay, the indexing are different. That is the very first characteristics of my list, which is ordered. So every element of my list is pretty much ordered. Okay, never forget that. Same thing here. I'm just giving you the same example. So as I said, list can contain anything basically. So here it's number. Now I'm given the same example here. A, B, C, D, E, F. So here again, pretty much the elements are same. You can see this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J, K, L. Pretty much the same, right? But here again, what I'm seeing here is the different elements, the positioning of the elements are different. So A, B, C here is the first position. Right now here is the second position. Again, it's different. So definitely by now you already know that these two are two different lists, not the same list. Clear? Cool, moving ahead. So the second key characteristics of my lists are they can contain any arbitrary value, guys, any arbitrary value. So name it. You can have a number, you can have a string, you can have maybe a function, you can have a library, or you can have a Boolean value. You can have literally anything in list. And you can also have a list within a list. You know that. That's a concept of nested list. We'll be eventually talking about nested list as well, right? So that's pretty much the flexibility you can get from the list. It's a very strong data type in Python. So you can see this now. If I just print A, I'll have the elements of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if I do print A on top of my string, which is A, B, C, and D, I'll be getting all the different elements here. And also, I can have a mixed match of it. So I have 5 elements here, A, 32, 34, 35, and I have C. So I have a mixed match of things. So I have both the strings as well as list, as well as numbers in my list. I can pretty much have that. So now you can see this. I have 5 elements, and it's a mixed match of my strings and my numbers. Correct? Pretty simple. And also, as I said, it can still have any simple data type. You can see this. I have the number is not an integer anymore. It's a float. I have a string. I have an integer. I have a string. And now I have a true value, which is again a Boolean value, true or a false, right? I can still have that. Pretty much possible. It's okay. So now this element, the second last element is a Boolean value, which is true, right? I can still have it. Cool. And also, it can also contain the complex objects like the function and even the classes. So, for example, I create a function, say ABC, or I have a inbuilt functionality called as minimum, right, or maximum. So, and I'm also creating a user-defined function ABC, nothing. So, just returning a true value here. So, this if you print ABC here, you pretty much get what? So, you'll return the function, which is a function element, right? Now, I'm importing another library called as pandas. I can pretty much import pandas. So, pandas is again available with my inbuilt. So I've loaded in my memory. So you can see this is a module pandas, which is now here. I can pass even these complex data types, even the functions and even the libraries, even the classes on top of my list. So I can have the strings, I can have the function, I can have the libraries. So the modules directly given, even the user-defined functions are pretty much given here. So if I just simply access whatever I want, for example, I want to access the 5th index here. So I can pretty much have this function, which is ABC, the 6th index value, which I have. So here I'll be getting the value like this. Cool. Simple. I can have literally anything in list. So this is the beauty of my list. Okay. As I said, now here to find out how many number of elements. So list can contain any number of elements ranging from 0 to any compute allowable number. So for example, if there is a certain limit in a computer, so you can obviously provide only those numbers of depending on the computational speed. But again, list can literally contain any number of elements from 0 to infinity, and infinity is basically computer allowable limit. Okay. And again, also important thing is it's not mandatory for in a list that the elements are unique. I can have a same element repeated twice. For example, what do I mean by this? So I have an element A, which is a list again, And if I create it like this, is 0, 1, 2, 3. I can have again 0 here. I can have again 1. I can have again 3. So I can have the repetitions also. And this 3, which is at fourth location, and this 3, which is the last location, are two different elements for me. They are not same, guys. They are not same. They are completely different. So if I have to access this 3, so the first 3, which is at the fourth index, I have to specify the right index to access that 3. And that is an individual element. It has its own individual identity. Okay. Likewise, this 3, which is at the last, it has its own individual identity as well. So these two are not same. It's not mandatory for a list to have unique values itself. It can have any values. It can have even the same values repeated twice, thrice, n number of times, pretty much fine. Still a unique individual element they'll be identified as. It's not the same element. Okay. Cool. So pretty much fine. I think we have a request from top right corner. Unfortunately, I really cannot do that. So that is something inbuilt. Let me pull up the content rather. Okay. So if this is not readable, so I'll try to pull up the content a bit on the top, and then we'll see that like that. Okay. Cool. So the next important thing in list is accessing by index. So this is where we'll have a few questions, and I would want you to be really active here. So I would want you to give me a few surprises in the terms of solution, which I'll be expecting you to give. So now, as I have already introduced you, list can be accessed through indexes, right? So list can definitely be accessed through indexes. So now what are those indexes, right? So how can I access those indexes? Pretty much important, guys. So let me quickly show it to you. So I have here, so you can see this, for example, I have the elements A, B, C, D, and F, right? So how to access this element is also very important. So for example, I have this A, I'll print this A here quickly. So I have this A here. So now if I want to access this element A, right? So for this element A, you can access in both the directions. So top left to right and right to left. Okay. So for example, here, the leftmost index is my A. If you start the indexing, it starts from the left side, which is A, and extended till F. So first index is A, second index is B, third index is C, fourth index is D, fifth index is E, and sixth is F, right? And also I can do the indexing from the right hand side. So going from the backward side. So in this case, the first index would become F. Likewise, the last index would become A in this case, right? So both the ways the accessing is pretty much feasible from both the ends, from left to right or right to left, from starting to end or end to start. Both of things are pretty much fine. Okay. Now the important thing to understand is how to identify what indexes to give, right? So for the first case, we talk about the forward index, right? So for the forward index, the indexing always starts from 0. The first index will always be 0. So in Python, remember guys, the indexing always starts from 0. And I could see many of the people are giving this answer, A of 0, A of -6. I'll be definitely giving you all of these guys. Correct. So indexing always starts from 0. Okay. So the first index will become 0. And then subsequent integers will be like +1. So it will be 0, and this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be 3. So there is a slight bit of tricky thing here. So don't assume that this A as a first element is not going to be A of 1, right? It's going to be A of 0. And if we want to access the second element, it'll be A of 1, not A of 2. Okay. So forward indexing always starts from 0. Always remember that. Okay. Now, this is how the forward indexing works. For the backward indexing, so if you want to start from the end, right? So that always starts from -1. So here start is always -1. So here this F would become what? So F would become -1. Okay. And likewise, if for each of these, I'll be keep on adding 1. Okay. So what will be? So for the next, E will be -1, so it will be -2, then -3, then -4, then -5, then -6. Correct? So E from -1 to -6, this will go. And 0 will be go to 0, starting from 0, it will go up to 5. So this is how the indexing looks like. So now, if you have to access a particular element, for example, suppose if you want to access A. So I think people are already giving this example here, A of 0 or A of -6, right? So for example, if you want to access A, so as I said, there are both the options. You can either access from left to right, or you can access from right to left, right? So if you want to access from left to right, so this will become your first index, right? So in that sense, it will be A of 0. If you do A of 0, you will still get A, right? But you can also do this indexing from the backward side, right? So you can still write, if you also write a of -6, even that is pretty much fine. You will still get the same answer, a, right? So it's not about a of 0 or a of -6. You can give anything. Both of the indexing are pretty much fine. So Python works equally well for both of these indexing. Okay, so there is no right or a wrong thing here. It totally depends. So basically what you want to use and how comfortable you are. For example, suppose I want to access the last element, right? You can give, it's very simple to access the last element. How you can do that? So a of -1. It's very simple. So last element will always be -1. But again, if you go from left to right, so you have to count how many indexes are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will be 5. So you have to give 5 here like that. Or else simply you can simply give -1, right? So likewise, it depends on the usage. You can either use the forward indexing or the backward indexing. Both of them are equally fine. So there's no problem as such. Okay, so that's about your pinpointed indexing. So one single index you want to query, right? So one single index you want to figure out. But also there is a very beautiful concept of slicing, the indexing concept. Okay, so I can get the range of values. I can get a range of values which I want to identify from the particular list. Okay, so how can I give a range? So similar thing. So always indexing happens with a square bracket. Always remember that indexing or a slicing always happens with a square bracket. But here in this case, you can see I have in the slicing part, I have 3 individual things. Okay, so remember guys, don't get confused with this. We have 3 individual things here: start, end, and step. Okay, so 3 individual things which is very much important for your individual list slicing. So what happens in start? So in the start, you have to provide the start index. So from where you want to start querying, from where you want to see the results. Correct. Now the second part is end. So end means from where you want to till where you want to figure out. So that is the end point of your query index, right? And the third step, then the third thing is basically an optional argument, which is step. So what is the step size? Are you going to find out every other element like +1 +1 +1, or there is a hopping of element? You want the alternate elements, or you want the third alternate element, right? So what is the step size? So what is the increment you are seeing in your ranging values, right? So that is the step. So these are the 3 different arguments which you generally give in the slicing strategies. Okay, start, end, and step. Okay, now let's see how you can basically figure out the answer. Again, I'm coming back to the same example. Okay, so a of 0 here. So for example, say a of 0. Now quickly tell me this answer for this. Now you have a question in front of you. Quickly, guys. So in fact, I'll just give you a few examples. Suppose I want to access from the 0th element. Starting is 0, and then I have till I want the 5th index, and then the step size is 1. Okay, simple. So what shall I expect? So starting from the 0th character, which is a, 1, 2, 3. So this is what till d I want, and then I'll be having of step size of 1. So basically, all the first element I'll be taking it here. Okay, the important thing to understand is for the end, it always takes the n-1th character. So if I give the index as 4, it'll take till the 3rd index. It won't print me the 5th index. Okay, it'll only print me the 4th index. So which is till d, right? So I have a, b, c, and d here. Okay, not e. Remember this, guys. It'll always print me n-1th character, and I've given the step size as 1. Okay. Similarly, so I have a question here. So I think people have already answered this. Maybe let me give you another question. So here I'm starting from -1 now, and okay. So now give me this answer. So what will happen if I print -1 colon and I don't give anything? So another question for you guys quickly. So it's slightly tricky one. So the question is I'm giving a range of a of -1 colon, and I'm not giving anything. So what it will take? Quickly, guys. I think people have already answered. A lot of things. So I think we have an answer. So we have from Mashabi, and it's like an empty one. So whole list whole list will be printed. F, E, B, C, D, A, and then we have, okay, so a lot of things. So even people are saying empty list. Okay, so definitely it's more like you're a little confused with this. So again, the question is a of -1 till I mean, I'm not specifying anything. Okay, so but again, let me just show you the results. How does it look like? So can you see this? I only have F here. The reason is I'm not specifying till where I want to do. So now if I do hit like -1 till -5. So now here in this case, it will be empty because the ranging will not happen. I have to specify from where I have to start. If I give as 5, now let me just give you an example from the first. I'll tell you what from where to. So suppose I start from 2 till nothing. So this is what I want, and I want this step as 2. And now look at this. Just try to understand this this example. Okay, so now here look at this. So I have starting index as 2 and I'm not specifying the end. That means that if I'm not specifying the end from the beginning, so from the starting, that means that I'm pretty much trying to have everything whatever I have in the list. And here I'm specifying the for example, say step is 2, so all the alternate elements. So what is my second index for now? So just print A here first. So in the A, my second element is C, right? So I'm starting from C and I'm not specifying anything. That means that I'm pretty much trying to give whatever I want. Okay, and in this case I'll be having everything till the end, and the step size is 2, right? This is what I want to give. Okay, now let's try to understand from minus perspective. So if I give A of say -6 for example, and then if I give from start and I won't give and I give this as step size is 2. Okay, now in this case, what is my -6? -6 is my A, right? And I want end till everything, right? So this is fine. And now here step size is 2. So that means that A, C, then I have E, right? But what if I start with from -1? This means that -1 is already F, right? It's already F. There's nothing beyond F. That is my last element, right? That is my last element. So in this case, I won't be having anything there, right? So how will we print the element, guys? So it's not the reverse of the list. It's basically the elements which you want to print. It's just the start index. So don't get confused. It's not reversing of your list here. It's more like a start index for me. And the start index in this case is F, right? -1. And the last element is nothing there because there's nothing beyond it. Correct? Now I'll just give you an example. So another quick example. So here, assume that I have colon here. So I'm not specifying anything from the, so so again, remember guys, if I'm not specifying anything, that means from start and end by default, the default values. Okay. So can somebody tell me what will be the output here? Just look at this. So I just have a list and I'm specifying 2 different colons, colon and colon. I'm not specifying anything. I'm not giving anything here. Can somebody tell me what will be the output in this case? Right. So we have people saying whole list will be printed, right? A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. Okay. Great. Anybody is having any other answers here? Okay. So A, B, C, D, E, and F. So people are saying full list, full list. Absolutely. So yes, there's no question in that, right? Because I'm not specifying any start index and I'm not specifying any end index, and also I'm not specifying anything in step. So by default, starting is always the first character. By default, end is always the last character, last index, and by default, step is always 1. Okay, if I don't specify anything, if I keep it blank, it'll always keep the default values, which is start, I mean the 0th index, end is the last index, and my step size is 1. So if I don't give anything, right? And now just, I think somebody gave this answer. So if I give this is -1, okay? So now what I'm doing is take everything from start till the end. And in this case, the step is -1. You just reverse it. I don't want the step to be +1. Instead, in this case, I want the reverse to be -1, right? Then what will be the answer, guys? Quickly, then what will be the answer? It's very obvious till now, right? So now we have an answer here. So Abdullah says FEDCBA. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, guys. Reversing the full list. Now in this case, we'll be reversing the list, right? It's pretty simple anymore. So I think it's till now this time will be very clear, right? Why this colon minus? It's a very friendly, it's a very commonly used function. So we generally use colon -1 for reversing the list, right? But the logic has to be very clear. Why we're using colon -1? I think now it should be very clear to everybody, right? Why colon -1 is giving you a reverse list, right? Okay, so we have a question, or no? Is it possible -1:2? No, it's not possible, because if you give -1, it'll be end element. There's nothing beyond that, so it'll not give you anything. So maybe I'll just show it to you, right? So you're giving -1 and :2. So your starting character is -1, which is F, and your second character is what? So your second character is 0, 1, 2. So it's like D, right? So let's look at this. It's not possible, right? And because you're not specifying remember guys, you're not specifying the step here, because step is by default 1. So it will be like A +1. So for example, I'll just print A, for example, here. Now, if you give like this, so A is +1, there is nothing +1, there's nothing beyond it, right? It won't print anything, right? So now, assume now if you give -1 here, that is the logic, guys. So now in this case, starting from here, you wanna end at C, but you want to print in the reverse order. So then in this case, the 1 will not work. You have to give -1 here. Then in this case, the result will be printed in the reverse order. It will be like F, E, and D for you, right? Does it make sense now? So if you want to do a starting index as -1, right? So it's just assume that it's just an index, okay? So starting -1 is F. It's done. It's done and dusted here, right? Now if you give 2 here, that is C, right? That is your that the value is C. So if you want to move from F to C, that's a reverse order, right? If you won't give step, if you're going to if you're not giving anything in step, that means that by default value is 1, right? So we'll keep on adding 1 to F. So it'll add 1 to F, and there's nothing +1. There's no index post F, right? It'll give you empty thing, right? If you want to reach to C, which is your the previous value of previous index of F, then you have to specify the step as -1. Right? It cannot be 1. It have to specify as -1. Then only you reach to C, because it's going in the reverse order now. You got it? Makes sense? So that's how things are, guys. Okay, it seems very easy at very first stage, but trust me, when you actually start doing things right, then the things start becoming tricky. I hope this is pretty much clear to everybody, right? I hope this is pretty much clear to everybody. So start, stop, and step. This indexing, this slicing strategy is very important, and this is very much needed in data science, right? And this is the core of almost everything, because the very important, I would say, data type is one of the data types is list. Then you have other things like dictionary, you have tuples, you have a lot of other things as well, but list is one of the very important and the key data type, guys. And this is one of the core concept in list. And trust me, as you guys were asking this question, I was pretty much expecting this, because it's not very easy to understand at the very first step, but if somebody is not explaining you that concept, right? But I hope now it is pretty much clear to everybody, isn't it? Quickly, guys, just a thumbs up or yes in the chat so that we can, just keep up the high spirit. Right? So can we just a quick yes in the chat? Great, thumbs up. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Wonderful. So, okay, so as Ashish was saying, that we have a surprise for you, and I do have a surprise for you. So, guys, as you know, we are pretty much going live for a data science course starting from 9th of April. It's pretty much a live course, okay? So, you have a coupon code for that. So, the course is starting from 9th of April. So you have a 20% off on that course if you're going to use the code STARTDS. So I'm going to spell it out: STARTDS, STARTDS, D for Delta, S for science, so data science. Start Data Science, STARTDS. That's your code, guys. Please make a note of it. STARTDS. If you're going to use this code, you're going to get 20% off for your data science live course, which is starting from 9th of April. And this course is pretty much valid only till midnight. So if you're really interested to go for a detailed data science live course, please use this code and have a 20% straight away flat off on your course starting from 9th of April. So the code name is STARTDS. Okay. Yes. So yes, pretty much now is correct. STARTDS. Yes, that's a code. And in caps lock. So use that in caps lock. It's a capital caps lock STARTDS. Okay. Great. So that's a surprise for you guys. Please do use the code and make the best out of it. So you can obviously use the caps lock one, guys. So Fanendra, as you said, to start DS, the first one, the caps lock one, start DS. You're going to use the caps lock one, start DS. Okay. So if you're going to use this code, you're going to get 20% off straight away on Geeks for Geeks live data science course starting from 9th of April. And trust me, and this is one of the very core topic which you're learning right now, and you might be seeing this for every day in your life, even if you're working on Python. But this smallest topic is troubling a lot of people in every day-to-day life. Okay, and that is the reason why it's always important to get into a structured learning, and it's just one of the flavors which we wanted to show it to you. But again, you're smart enough, so you understand what is the importance of a structured learning, and that is where we'll be having a detailed course coming up. Okay, let me also share the code in the chat for you guys, just to be very sure. So I've just shared the code STARTDS. That's pretty much it. So please use this code, and you're gonna have so 20% off on your data science live stream. Great. So coming back, guys, quickly. So that's pretty much what indexing says. So we can have n number of examples. Okay, we can have n number of examples. We can keep on solving the indexing, right? So maybe I can give you a few more questions just to have very much clarity on if you're, if you have pretty much cover things. So let me give you a few examples. So cool. So I have this A here, right? Just quickly solve this one. So I'm starting from A, starting from minus 2. I'm starting from till minus 6, and then I'm doing a step size of minus 2. Now, can somebody tell me what will be the output here quickly? Quickly, guys, you have a question right in front of you. The same list A, B, C, D, E, and F. The starting index is minus 2, the end index is minus 6, and the step size is minus 2. Can somebody tell me what will be the answer for this question? Quickly, guys. Let's not waste time. Quickly, let's see that. So we have answer from Fanindra, E and C. So, okay, we have another answer, E, C, and A. Okay, interesting. And I have E, C. So basically 2 things. And now again, somebody said empty. Okay, so I have 3 answers. I have 3 different answers till now. People are saying E, C, A, E, C, and empty. Okay, we have 4th answer, C. Again, okay, interesting. Okay, anybody is having any other answer? E, C, A. Okay, great. Wonderful, guys. Thank you so much for responding. I think people are pretty much interactive here. So let's see how we can get the answer. So the answer is E and C, and I'll explain you why. So now remember this, guys. My first index is minus 2, which is E, right? There's no doubts in that. What is my minus 6? Minus 6 is A, right? So here minus 2 means in this case E, right? And minus 6, that means A, right? So this is pretty much clear. So I want E till A. This is what I want, right? But always remember, I have told you for the end index, it's going to take n minus 1. Okay, so it's going to be minus 1. So I mean, here in this case, it will be A plus 1 because I will be taking the one index lesser than this. In the reverse order, it's going to be E plus 1. So it will be minus 5. So in this case, it will only be going till not A, till B. So that's going to be the end. So starting from here, that means that I'll be doing E. Then starting from E, I want till B, and the step size is minus 2. So on the reverse side, one alternate I want. So one I'll take, if I take E, then it'll be C. I cannot take D. So it'll be C here, right? And if I take one hop of C, they'll become A, right? But I cannot take A because I can only have the minus 1th character. I cannot have till the nth character, right? So the answer is only E and C, guys. Okay. So I can only have E and C in this case. Okay. I hope it's pretty much clear, right? There's no issues in this. You are able to understand what you're trying to say, correct? Let me give you one more question. I think people are still confused. So, and it's an important topic, guys. So I'm happy to maybe share one more question. Pretty much fine. So I'm starting from A, and then I'm starting from say 1, and I'm starting till minus 1, and then the step sizes I'm saying as minus 1. Okay. Now, can somebody tell me what is the answer here? So my start is 1, and my end is minus 1, and my step is minus 1. Now, can somebody tell me what will be the output here? Quickly, guys. Start is 1, end is minus 1, and the step is again minus 1. Great. So we have an answer here, empty. Okay, wonderful. Error maybe. Okay. So, but Faninda, there's no error. It will give you some result, either empty or some values, right? So we have, apart from empty, we have another answer, B and A. Okay, interesting. Okay, we have another answer, E, D, and C. Okay, interesting. I want to see why E, D, C, and coming here. Okay, so we have B and A, and I have E, D, C, B, and A. Okay, this is again interesting. Okay. Okay, any other answers, guys? Okay, still a lot of different answers I'm getting. So I'm still assuming people are not still very sure of the indexing. Okay, let me first print the result and then tell you the explanation. So the result is empty. It's very simple. The reason to that is, see, again, the start is 1. Look at this, guy. Start is what? 1. And what is 1? A, right? Sorry, B, right? So 1 is my B. So this is nothing but B. Correct? Simple as that. Now end. End is what? I'm saying minus 1. Okay. So end is saying, I'm saying minus 1. What is minus 1 here? F. Correct? F is minus 1. So I'll print here F. And since you know, if I want to say F, it's going to be F minus 1, right? The previous character to the F. So it will be in this case, what? It will be in this case, F minus 1 E. So ultimately it will be E, right? It will be converted to E. So I want to print from ultimate range is B to E. Okay, so I want from B to E to be printed. So if I want to move from B to E, I want to add plus 1 or minus 1. I want to add +1, right? If I do -1 on this, I'll go backward side. Remember, guys, so starting from B, if you do -1, you'll go back. But you want to go front, right? The end is -1. So there's a contradiction here. If you do -1 here, that means that you're going from B to the backward side. There's not, the E is not there in the backward side, right? So it's a contradiction. I cannot run this. This is it's like an invalid indexing for me. And that is the reason why it is giving me empty here. Make sense, guys? Able to understand? Okay. So that is the reason why it becomes really important to understand the logic of indexing, guys. Again, just give me a thumbs up if you're able to understand, or just tell me if you want one more question. Maybe we can have one more last question before we jump to the nested lists. Guys, quickly, just let me know if you want one more question. Great, guys. Anything which you want to see? Yeah, Aman, I cannot put my video on the right side. That's the logical thing. I cannot really do that. One more question. Okay, so why B is not printed? So why B is not? I've told you, right? So if you go from minus side, it's the indexing itself is wrong. So that is why it's not printing anything. Okay. So we have a question here. What if we do -1, -1, -1? Okay, that's a good question. So let's see if we do -1, -1, -1. So minus. Okay. So okay, let me show you the answer. Again, it's nothing because see again start is F. Okay, and again end is F. So basically again end F. If there is end F, so you cannot just print F, right? You have to go one beyond that. So there's nothing again. So it's starting from F, and if you do -1, it'll go to E, and in this case, it'll go to actually the other character, which is not existing, right? So it's purely not possible. Again a wrong indexing. It'll print you an error. It'll print you an empty list only. But that's a good question, guys. Okay. Great. So okay, let's take one more last question quickly, and before we jump to the nested list. Okay, so that's an important topic. So I want to spend some time there. Quickly, let me give you one more question. So starting from index, say -2, and I'm gonna end till say 0, and I'm gonna have the indexing as -3. Now, quickly, guys, tell me the answer for this. So you have one more question, one more question. Quickly, just tell me the answer for this. I'm doing starting from -2 till 0, and then the step is -3. What is the answer here? Quickly. Okay, I'll just quickly scroll up. I'm really sorry. I'll scroll up. So I have a question here. So I have -2 as my start index, 0 as my end index, and then I'm having a -3 here at the end. Okay, step size. So we have an answer here coming as E and B. Somebody's answer is C. Okay. E and A maybe. Okay, interesting. And E and B. So many people are saying E and B. Okay, interesting. Great, guys. So let me show you the answer. Again, in fact, let me show the answer and let's print it. Obviously, it's going to be E and B. The reason to that is, so your start is your -2, right? And what is -2? That is E. That is by default. And then your end is 0. End is 0. That means that it's going to be A, but eventually it's going to be B because I'll be taking the one previous index to that, right? And step is -3. So I'll be hopping 3 steps. So first thing will be printed will be E for sure. And then the third one, 1, 2, and 3. The third index is from E is B. So I'll be printing B here. And after this, if I hop 3 places, there's nothing beyond the 3 hops, right? So it's only be printing E and B for me. Clear? Great, guys. Able to understand this question? Just a quick thumbs up in the chat. We'll move ahead with the nested list concept. Okay, I'll just spend some quick time there, and then we'll wrap up. So we'll be wrapping up in an hour. So it's going to be a boot camp of 1 hour per day. Okay, so we'll be giving you the flavors of what are things we can learn, but pretty much great. So okay, great. So let's move ahead and let's try to have a concept of nested list. Okay, let me show you a concept of nested list. Again, this is something which is very, very, very important, guys. Again, let's try to understand what is the concept of nested list. So nested list is nothing but list within the list. Okay, and you have in front of you a very good example. Okay, a very, very good example. So now look at this. It's a very complex looking list for you, right? Isn't it? It's a very complex looking list. So here you can see this. I have multiple sub lists within the same list. So now what I can see is, so this is looking like my first element, right? And starting from this and ending it here, right? So this all together is my second element, right? This is my third element, and this entire thing is my fourth element, and this is my fifth element, isn't it? So as you know, a list also has an objective of the sub list. It can contain the sub list. So I can have a list within the own list, and it can go to any arbitrary depth. I can have any length of arbitrary inner sub list on top of my main list. Okay, it's pretty much possible. So that is the reason why we have a concept of nested list. So I can have any number of arbitrary sub lists available under my parent list. Okay, so now look at this example. How can I extract the right things from here? Okay, so for example, if I've printed X, okay, if I simply see X, so I have all the elements, right? So as I've said, so what are my elements here? So this is my first element, this is my second element, right? And this is my third element, this is my fourth element, and this is my fifth element, right? So now what if I want to access, say for example, DDD, for example, I want to access DDD. So the objective is how to access DDD. Okay, so DDD is within multiple sublists, right? So we have to follow a process. We have to follow the sequence here. It is very important. Okay, so now the very first thing is where exactly this DD is in the parent list. So it is under the second element, isn't it? It is under the second element. So how to access the second element is going to be 1. So indexing is 1, or also in the reverse order, you can also write -1, -2, -3, -4. So x of 1 or x of -4, isn't it? So both of these things will be giving me the same results, is it? So if I go x of 1 here, now I'll be having the first element, so which is like the inner sublist. Okay, so this is again a sublist. So if you want to check how many elements are there in this, I can simply run the length of this. If I run a length of this, I'll get 4, because this inner sublist is now having 4 sub. It's again a list, right? And in this list, I have how many elements? I have first element is this. This entire thing is again my second element. This is my third element, and this is my fourth element. Okay, so now this DDD is actually present under the second element, which is again a sublist though, but again it's present under the second element, right? So to write the second such element, you have to write the second indexing, which is another square bracket. You remember, guys, so people are already answering this. Another sub element, which is 1. Okay, so this is my second element of my sublist. Okay, so if I write x of 1, I'll be getting what? I'll be getting this inner list. Okay, because it is the first element of my parent list. So just to give you more technicality about it, right? So now within this, now this is again a list, right? And in this list, I have how many elements? I have only 2 elements here. So I have, this is my first element and this is my second element, right? So now to access this DDD, I can also write this of 1, or again, this is the last element, so I can also write -1. Even this is fine. So I'll get DDD here. Here, Kavita, there's no clarity. Okay, so I'll explain it again. Anybody is having any other doubts? Are you able to get this point, guys? So are you able to at least get this point? Anybody is having any other questions in this? Anybody is having any other questions? Share notes. Okay, so no doubts, clear. For other things we'll discuss. Okay, but anyway, I'll just quickly explain you again. So how to access the nested list, as I've said. So list itself has a arbitrary concept of having the sub list. Okay, so it can have multiple sublists within the same list. Is pretty much possible. Okay, so that is the reason why we have the concept of multi-dimensional list. So multi-list or nested list, or whatever you call this as. So now to access such elements, we have to find out how exactly we can reach to individual such elements. So here indexing goes in sequence. Okay, so as always, indexing will always be through square brackets. There's no doubt in that. So but here the first element, so the parent list itself has 5 elements, right? So this is your first element, this entire thing is your second element, This is your third element, this is your fourth element, and this is your fifth element, right? You can see this. So to access this entire bigger list, you have to write x of 1 because this is my second element or the first index, right? So x of 1, and now on this, which is again a list. So again I have to go deep in this. So again I have to write the indexing. So on this is again a list, right? So again indexing would work. So this is the second element here. The second element would be again of 1, and then I'll get CCC and DDD. Again, this is a list. So again, indexing would work here in sequence. So here again, I can give 1. So I'll get the DDD element printed here. Okay. Cool. Great. So let me give you a question here quickly. So x of colon minus 1. And then if I do of say 1, and then I do colon minus 1, and then if I do minus 1. Can somebody tell me what will be the answer of this quickly? Quickly, guys, what will be the answer of this? I have a question right in front of you. So I am mixing up the concepts of slicing as well as indexing on multiple lists. Okay. So I'm adding up this thing for you. So quickly, guys, what is the answer here? So people are saying HH and II. So HE. Okay. HH. Okay. Okay. Any other responses, guys? So there's again answer called FF. Interesting. Okay. Anybody's having any other answers apart from this? So it's pretty much clear, right? I can have any such depth of indexing, slicing, or nested list is totally possible. So this operation can go on till the time it is a valid operation, right? I can have any such operations. It's valid in front of me. Okay, pretty much valid. So now how? So we have answers here, HH. So how exactly we can have it? So let me just show it to you. So for example, again, as I've said, it's a pretty much sequential operation, right? So now it'll first check x of colon minus 1, then it will do 1, then again it'll do colon minus 1, then at the last it'll do minus 1. So it's a sequential operation, right? So now how it will work? So first we'll check what is the output of this. So what is the output of this colon minus 1? It's a reverse of your strings, right? You know that it's a reverse of your list, right? So I have just reversed the order of my list. So now in this case, once the order is reversed, I'm accessing the first element. What is the first element here? Which is this. This is my first element, right? Isn't it? So once I do this, I'll get the first element, which is HH and II. Okay. Now again, I'm reversing this list, isn't it? So I'm reversing this. So it'll become II and HH. So this inner list is now reversed, II and HH, right? Now on top of this, I'm doing minus 1. So what is minus 1? Which is the last character of my list. So if I do minus 1 here, I'll get HH as my answer. I hope people were able to connect with that, right? Great, wonderful, guys. Quick thumbs up in the chat if you're able to connect and if you're able to understand. Quickly, guys, just a quick thumbs up or yes, if you're able to understand the concept in the chat. So Gaurav, indexing pretty much works the same way. So it's a sequential operation, as I've said, right? So you'll always operate through sequences, one after the another, right? So one index in separate square bracket, then another index in the separate square bracket, unless and until it's a slicer. Slicer is different, right? What is the index of BB? Where is BB? Okay, so for this BB, right? So it's pretty simple again. So I have X here, right? So X. So this BB is present again under what? My second element, right? So if I do X of 1, I'll get this one, correct? So in this list, this is the first element. So if I write X of 1 of 0, I'll get BB. Or I'll take minus. So what is the length? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can also write minus 4. So I'll get still again BB, right? Cool, guys. So with this, we are pretty much through with the first day of our bootcamp. Okay, I really hope you guys like the session, and we have a lot of interesting things coming up in day 2 and day 3, right? So what we're now trying to do is, now once you have the flavor of what technicalities are involved in Python, it's just a flavor of it anyway. So now we'll be moving into the data science project. Okay, so it's basically the Python which we are teaching today, but now going forward, we'll be going more deep in terms of data science, right? So tomorrow we'll be having a detailed data analysis being done on one of the predefined data sets, which is in-house to us, GFG. So you know that, right? So as Ashish was talking about, we'll be going deep in one of the problem statements tomorrow. We'll be doing the data analysis tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, we'll be doing a proper detailed project on top of that. Okay. And at the end of the day 3, you'll be getting an assignment, a take-home assignment, which you are expected to solve before the start of the day 4, right? And on day 4, you'll be pretty much having the solutioning of the assignments, which will be shared on day 3 end. And also for each of those assignments, we'll be evaluating the results, and eventually you'll be awarded with some exciting goodies again. So on day 5, when we'll be wrapping up, we'll be talking about the career session. So we'll be taking up your questions in terms of data science, how you can start your journey, or if you have any specific questions regarding your career, resumes, or what are different options you have in data science, what are different career paths you can choose. So all of those questions will be very much answering on day 5. Okay, so that's pretty much our agenda looks like for the for 5 days in bootcamp. So if you have any specific questions, guys, please be ready with that, so we can definitely take up as and when the time comes. So with this, we are pretty much through with the session, guys. I hope you really liked it, and we had some really good responses. And I hope you were able to understand the gist of the things. But again, as I've said, so we'll be going very much in deep for the data science live course, which is starting from 9th of April. So do register for that course, where we'll have a dedicated sessions on all the individual topics. And you know the coupon code STARTDS pretty much. So STARTDS is the coupon code which you can use for getting a quick a 20% off on your data science live course. I've again pasted the code in the chat, start ds. So do not forget to use the code start ds, and trust me, guys, it will expire after 12 midnight today. Okay, so you have 3 hours from now. So if you really like the content, please do register for the program. So you can obviously get a flat 20% off by using the code start ds. Okay. It's only valid till midnight today. Okay, so you have only 3 hours to use this code StartDS. So if you're gonna really use that, you can avail 20% off. Otherwise, post midnight 12, it'll be expiring. Okay. Cool, guys. So I hope you guys to see you tomorrow again. So tomorrow, Ashish will be pretty much there with you, so to take you with the detail of data science projects on TED Talks. So the data which he was talking about, he'll be giving you a detailed insight of how to do a data visualization, how to do the data analysis on the prelim data, right? So that's pretty much coming up for tomorrow's session. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be expecting you again live tomorrow with us. Same time, 8 p.m. Thank you so much, and have a good day ahead. Bye-bye.